Hello and welcome once again to CEBL Weekly. I'm your host, Sean Woodley. Thanks so much for being along once again for your weekly trip around the Canadian Elite Basketball League. And thanks for watching on CEBL Plus or on the CEBL's YouTube channel. If you haven't hit that big red subscribe button yet, please do. Got a loaded show for you today. We got another edition of my weekly power rankings with the new number one. We also have a look at the most historic, incredible, unbelievable Elam ending finish we've had in CEBL history to date. And as well, we have a look at the Scarborough Shooting Stars and the impact they're making in the ends with a special feature out of Scarborough. Plus, we got the calendar check, my game of the week, and so much more. But before we dive into any of that, I do want to take a second to just reflect on what an incredible week it was for the CEBL, living up to exactly what this league exists to do. It has a few things that are sort of the priorities, right? First, there's great basketball for people to watch and entertainment, and we had a hell of a lot of great games this past week, tons of close finishes and single possession decisions. On top of that, this is a league for opportunity for coaches, players, broadcasters, officials alike to get a shot to potentially move on to bigger and better things down the line. And we saw that all over the place in the CEBL over the last 7 days. First off, Ryan Schmidt, head coach of the Hamilton Honey Badgers for the last 3 seasons, was named the new head coach of the London Lions of the British Basketball League. Of course, the league that Raptors head coach Nick Nurse got his start in as a bench boss. Coach Schmidt's new digs will have him competing in tournaments like the Euro Cup, which features clubs from all across Europe, with the potential one day of even joining the Euro League, basically the second biggest basketball competition outside of the NBA. Beyond the coaches, you have 4 different players going to Summer League down in Vegas looking for NBA contracts. Javon Blair of the Growlers will be playing for the New York Knicks team down there. AJ Lawson of the Guelph Nighthawks will be with the Mavericks. Jeremiah Tillman Jr. from the Honey Badgers will be with the Orlando Magic, and Christian Vital of the Honey Badgers as well will be playing for the Toronto Raptors Summer League squad after getting spotted by the Raptors front office at a Scarborough Shooting Stars game. What more could you want from the league that's meant to give guys opportunities to move on to the NBA? Plus, beyond that, there's the Canada basketball connection. Thomas Kennedy, for example, the U Sports star out in Fraser Valley, has made the Global Jam team for Team Canada that'll be going down this week at the Mattamy Athletics Centre. And there was the big one on Friday in Hamilton. If you missed it, the Team Canada FIBA qualifier between Canada and the Dominican Republic, as the CEBL had its hands all over the planning of that wonderful event and set the stage for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to pour in 32 points in front of 6,000 home fans in his hometown for the first time in far too long. It's been a great week for the CEBL, fulfilling its mission. Here's hoping for more, as there's still a month plus left in the season. If you've ever watched this show, you'll know that I love the Elam ending, and one of the biggest reasons for it is that it shuts off the clock. The clock can often serve as like a sixth defender for a team that's up big late in the game. They can rest on their laurels, run some clock with long possessions, and get out with a win pretty easily. But that's not fun. It's way more fun when the clocks are off and the miraculous has a real chance of happening. We saw that happen on Monday as the Ottawa Blackjacks strung enough stops and scores together to pull out a historic 23-8 run in Elam time to shock the Scarborough Shooting Stars on their home court at the Toronto Pan Am Centre and pull out their 3rd win of the season. Let's take a look now at how they did it and how they pulled off the biggest Elam comeback in CEBL history with this cinematic game film put together by our wonderful editor, Sherry R. Shockett.
Here we go tonight. So it's the 2-7 desperate Blackjacks, the 5-4 Shooting Stars. 2 teams come in riding hot after wins. The tip from Posthumous, and look out tonight for Walt Lemon Jr., who will run the floor for the Ottawa Blackjacks. Jackson Rowe, 3-point shot is off. One of the best 3-point shooting percentages in the league. Here's Harris, shot clock at 3. Yes, the seal is broken. Shooting Stars taking it to the Lemon Jr., back out to the corner. Baseline now, and the Blackjacks have no luck right now. Chapman again. Find something soon, maybe even a timeout.
Yeah,
corner, 3, Isaiah, Mike, 3 ball, Isaiah, Mike. The basket takes it there. It'll go, and so momentum from the visitors.
Ottawa really picking up the defensive intensity, cutting into this lead. Scarborough's not getting anything easy as they once were.
Jackson Rowe, and there's a three ball. They're going to need a whole lot more of that from Cody John, starting to bring his team back.
This game was lost in the first quarter, unfortunately.
Oh, what a throwdown! And right now, the Ottawa Blackjacks have to go on a 23-8 run in order to win this game. Oh boy! Do you believe in miracles? Did it before. Oh, wow! You're kidding me! And suddenly, the Ottawa Blackjacks have fought back and are a three-pointer away from winning this thing. This guy has been deadly. Oh my God! He did it! Terrell Green just won this game for the Ottawa Blackjacks. Wow. Can you believe this?
It's that time. Once again, it's the listicle in video segment form. It is the Power Rankings, where I rank all 10 teams in the league from worst to best over their last 7 days or so. We begin at number 10 with the Montreal Alliance. It is now 7 straight losses for Montreal after falling to their expansion cousins from Scarborough on Sunday. Reaching the postseason at this point isn't impossible, but it would be quite a stunner. There is, however, a bright spot in Montreal, and it's 6'7" hometown kid Nathan Caillot. After a slow start to the year, the 24-year-old is averaging 16.3 points a game without a single night shooting under 50% in his last 7, and a couple 20-point-plus efforts have been mixed in there as well. If nothing else, Montreal's got a piece to build their program with in future years in Caillot. At number 9, we have the Growlers, and what a week it was for Newfoundland. It did not start out great, as they found themselves on the wrong end of the biggest blowout in CEBL history when they lost to Edmonton by 51 to drop them to 0-10. But credit to Patrick Ewing's squad, man, because they bounced back in a big way, taking down the surging Saskatchewan Rattlers 83-60 at home on Sunday, capped off by an Elam-ending yam by the CEBL's second leading scorer, Brandon Sampson. For a team that could have easily had 4 or 5 wins already instead of just 1, this breakthrough was coming for a while. At number 8, it's the Ottawa Blackjacks. In addition to seeing the widest margin of victory in the CEBL this week, we also got to take in the drama of the biggest Elam-ending comeback the league's ever seen, as Ottawa, as mentioned before, stormed back from down 14 at the start of the Elam frame, outscoring the Shooting Stars 23-8 and pulling out the thrilling victory on the Scarborough home court. Had they been able to pull off a 3rd straight win in Hamilton on Saturday, they just might have had a case for the 7th spot this week. Lots of teams lose to Hamilton though, and while the record still looks rough, it seems the championship weekend hosts are finally starting to figure themselves out. At number 7, it's Guelph, and the Nighthawks are without a doubt the streakiest team in the league this year. Catch them on the right day, and they'll dazzle you with the league's most potent transition attack and some of the best top-end talent any team has frankly assembled in the CEBL. Catch them on the wrong day, like the Honey Badgers did on Thursday night, and they're liable to go down by 30 or so points at halftime. How they cope with star Canadian forward AJ Lawson's stint with Vegas on the Mavericks will be pivotal as they look to pull themselves out of their current station as the lowest seeded team in the play-in mix. At number 6, we have Saskatchewan, and before Sunday's loss to the Growlers, I was ready to go bold and have the Rattlers as high as number 2 in this week's rankings. They'd won 3 straight going in, including a 92-90 victory over a very good, very deep River Lions team without their offensive engine and very real MVP candidate Tony Carr, who's now missed the last 2 games for the Rattlers. But falling to the team that was 0-10 is going to have an effect on the ranking, and with so little separating the teams in this range, Saskatchewan's oodles of talent up and down the roster won't save them this week. I will say though, with a healthy and available Tony Carr, this team absolutely has the juice to win the whole bloody thing at season's end. We'll lump the 5th and 4th teams, Scarborough and Edmonton, together this week, with Scarborough getting the 5 spot and Edmonton slotting in at number 4. Decided purely based on one team being on the wrong end of history this week and the other very much being the ones who doled out a historic result in the case of Edmonton. Yes, Scarborough did blow that 14-point lead in Elam time to Ottawa, but they bounced back in a huge way with a road win over a very good Fraser Valley team on Canada Day. This team's been hooping for a while now, and a trusted foursome, including Jalen Harris, Cam Chapman, Khalif Young, and Isaiah Mike, is proving to be among the best and league's most formidable groups of four. Edmonton, meanwhile, gets the slight edge this week thanks to their 51-point demolition of the Growlers at home on Thursday, which featured 7 different players scoring in double figures. Jamal Jones had an 11-point, 11-assist double-double. Jordan Baker was a single rebound shy of a triple-double, and only one Stinger shot worse than 50% on the night. Both Scarborough and Edmonton are rounding into form right now, and the idea of a one-off elimination game against either of these squads should certainly scare the team sitting just ahead of them in the rankings. At number 3, we have the Fraser Valley Bandits. 2 straight losses to Scarborough and Niagara dropped last week's number 1 down to the 3rd spot, but reinforcements are very much on the way. It began with the return of Merritt Clausen, one of the best point guards, frankly, in CEBL history, who got some light action in his return to the team in Sunday's loss to the River Lions and figures to scale up big time moving forward. And their latest signing, well, it's none other than Defensive Player of the Year last year, Brandon Gilbeck, who will join the team this coming week. Combine those two guys with an already stacked list of Canadians and a rising MVP candidate in import Shane Gibson, and this Bandits team ain't messing around with the playoffs drawing near. At number 2, we have the Niagara River Lions, and they played a couple squeakers this week, falling just short in Saskatchewan before a 102-99 win over the aforementioned Bandits on Sunday, which gives them the edge here. The scariest element of Vic Razzo's squad is the number of guys who can ruin your day on the roster. On Sunday, it was Antonio Davis Jr., who's been excellent as a complimentary piece all season, but against Fraser Valley was the star for Vic Razzo's side, pouring in 22 points and grabbing 12 rebounds. That's the thing about this River Lions team. It's tough to know which guy is going to give you a bad day because there's talent oozing up and down the roster. And at number 1, and for the 3rd time this year, it's the Hamilton Honey Badgers claiming the top spot after a 2-0 week in which they barely broke a sweat. On Thursday, they jumped out to a 60-29 halftime lead against the Guelph Nighthawks, coasting the rest of the way to secure the edge in their season series. Then on Sunday against Ottawa, they held a 20-plus point first half lead, and while Ottawa did at one point trim the lead to 6, Ryan Schmidt's squad punched right back to still win by double digits. This team is losing a couple guys to Summer League in Jeremiah Tillman Jr. and Christian Vital, but they're so deep and their leading man Caleb Agata is so good that it might not matter. The Hamilton Honey Badgers reclaim number 1 in this week's power rankings. Perhaps more than any other team in CEBL history, the Scarborough Shooting Stars in their first season of operation have been grabbing the headlines this year. It started, of course, with the signing of rap sensation J. Cole and carried over when they brought in former Toronto Raptor Jalen Harris to lead their attack. In this little feature we're going to show you now, Nico Carino, part owner of the team, and Olufemi Atimi, Shooting Stars player, CEBL mainstay, and Scarborough local, talk about the impact they're trying to have with the Shooting Stars in the ends. It's the CEBL playbook brought to you by Foot Locker.
A 16-year-old kid dreaming. I think it's my duty to create different opportunities and ways to support the kids' goals and give them a jump start to what they want to do. I just want to inspire the next generation to do bigger and greater things. I was that kid walking around Scarborough Town Center every Friday night holding a basketball and just dribbling around the mall, waiting for my time at the YMCA to happen. So Nicholas Carino, better known as Nico, president and co-founder of the Scarborough Shooting Stars. Growing up in like a household of first generation Filipino family, born and raised in Scarborough. So it's kind of like brought up in the Filipino community, but in the basketball world, I guess, Filipinos love basketball. The Raptors came out in 95, I want to say, and that was a big moment for us, you know what I mean? And mom immediately put me in the Raptors camps and stuff like that, and really engaged in the sport.
Nico and I, we played on the same team, the Scarborough Blues. And, you know, we had probably like one of the most exciting teams back then. And Nico will tell you that he was probably the better player, the better shooter, whatever. He was a good shooter. That was it.
This is one thing. First take, first and only thing. One take, I told you. One take. Where's all of it? See that?
You know, just to be a part of this team and to know that long, and our friendship being so tight for that long is it's been amazing. To be a part of this league from the beginning till now is a blessing, and to actually be close to home to Toronto is also a blessing. And you know, like I tell my friends and family, this basketball stuff has been like full circle for me, so it's a blessing.
You know, what people don't know about him is that like he was like one of the pioneers of Canadian basketball. You know, unfortunate for his high school injuries, he was one of those guys that could have went to the NBA straight out of high school. You know, for him to be a part of this and what we're doing now is like, it means a lot. Like, you know, to have somebody homegrown, somebody that actually, you know, that I have a close relationship with, earn their way on the basketball team, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm happy that he's a part of this team, and I'm happy that he's still playing the game he enjoys, so. If you're from the GTA, you know about Scarborough. You know, Cole was only one example, but Xavier Wraithen Mays, he was a little kid watching us play on the other side of the basketball court, and now he's like the man, you know what I mean? So Kyle Alexander, another Scarborough guy, you know, to see ESPN talk about Scarborough, to see, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, people are starting to notice Scarborough, whether it be entertainment or through sport. I think, like, you know, Scarborough's now its own entity.
First time for the Eds tonight. It is the opener for the Scarborough Shooting Stars.
Coach Excellence, how are you feeling right now? Because the game is about to go underway. It's not just a home opener, it is the home opener for the inaugural season of the Shooting Stars. How special is that?
Special moment in time. This is historical for everybody right here. So we're super excited. We're glad to be back home. Blessed for the opportunity.
Absolutely, Coach. Good luck.
This place is just starting to fill up. It is going to be jammed. I don't even know how to describe the feeling, but the CEBL has grown and grown and grown. And to have a first-time team in the GTA says a lot about the growth of this game.
100 miles per hour, might crash because a good die young. Yeah, a good die young. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more.
Their offense, when it moves, really moves. Like this. Will they hit it? Yes! Yes, they will!
Write my name in the stone, write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone, cause I'm coming back home. I'm coming back home.
In anything I do, I probably want to leave behind a legacy, right? OVO is always community first, you know what I mean? Like, we kind of want to impact youth. You know, rest in peace, had conversations with Virgil Abloh. The reason why he does things is for his, like, childhood self, you know what I mean? You know, those conversations truly resonated with me, because it's like, what do we look back on and get inspired by? It's like, I wanna make my kids proud, and something that my kids could possibly hold on to. Again, I always talk about inspiring, like, you know, I need to inspire my son and my daughter, you know what I mean? So just living righteous and doing the right thing. I think that's my life story. Being loyal, you know, being a good friend, good father, and again, just doing the right thing. I think things will work out, you know what I mean? So.
100 miles per hour, might crash cause good die young. But here I come.
As is weekly tradition here on CEBL Weekly, it's time now for me to give you my game of the week. The single game you simply must circle on your calendar to plan your week of CEBL hoops around. And this week, it's a Saturday night affair between two Southern Ontario rivals. It's the Niagara River Lions hosting the Guelph Nighthawks in a game with all sorts of postseason implications. The River Lions, as it stands right now at the time of recording on Monday, sit just a game back of the top spot held right now by the Hamilton Honey Badgers. And a reminder, whoever gets that top spot is going to have free passage all the way to the semifinals on championship weekend. It's a big deal. You don't want to be stuck playing play-ins and quarterfinals, which are all one-off elimination games. For Guelph, they right now have the lowest spot in the play-in standings, with Ottawa behind them in the standings being guaranteed passage as the host of championship weekend. And if they want to climb up and get a home date in a play-in, this will be the time to start climbing those standings. Two great players on hand to lead the way as well, as Khalil Ahmad, the league's leading scorer, goes up against Kat Barber, one of the clear MVP candidates in the league as well. This one goes down 7 p.m. on CEBL Plus and CBC Gem. Watch it for free. Get the app as well. We got a triple header that day. You're going to want to keep up with all the fantastic action on Saturday. Now, if you feel like watching all the games on the CEBL calendar this week, which you obviously should, the playoff races are heating up and everything, here's a look at what you can look forward to over the next 7 days. Things get rolling with a pair of games on Thursday night. First up at the Verdun Auditorium in Montreal at 7:30, the Montreal Alliance look to break their 7-game losing streak with a game against the top of the league, Hamilton Honey Badgers. Montreal has to start stringing wins together right now if they want to be in the play-in competition, and they have to start doing it against the toughest team in the league. Good luck, Montreal. That same night, the Guelph Nighthawks visit the Scarborough Shooting Stars at the Toronto Pan Am Centre in a game between two teams separated as it stands by just a single game. On Friday night in Ottawa, it's another battle of teams at opposite ends of the standings. The 8-4 Fraser Valley Bandits visit the Ottawa Blackjacks for a big game there, as Ottawa, they're safe, they're all good. They'll be a championship weekend nonetheless, but the Bandits sure want to track down those Honey Badgers who sit at top of the standings. Then on Saturday, it's that triple header I already teased up. The Edmonton Stingers start things off at 2 p.m. local time, taking on the Hamilton Honey Badgers in a big-time matchup. Later on, the Newfoundland Growlers look to add to their win total with a game against the Saskatchewan Rattlers, another rematch of the game that just went down on Sunday, with the Growlers picking up their first win. Then, to close out, it's the game of the week, the Niagara River Lions and the Guelph Nighthawks. That one gets rolling at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Monday night, the Alliance host the Fraser Valley Bandits as they continue their tour of the eastern reaches of the league, looking again to track down the Honey Badgers. That one goes down at 7:30 Eastern Time. Then to round out your week on Tuesday night, it's a doubleheader between the Edmonton Stingers and the Ottawa Blackjacks in a game that will go down to the Edmonton Expo Center starting at 7 p.m. local time. And that does it once again for another edition of CEBL Weekly. Thank you so much, as always, for joining us once again. In case you missed it, CEBL Mobile, the official app of the CEBL, is now available for iOS and Android devices. Download now and follow your favorite teams and players, as well as watch every single game for free. Also, don't forget to follow us at CEB League on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook for all the latest news, updates, and honestly, some pretty fantastic content as well. CEBL Championship Weekend is also headed to our nation's capital August 10th to 14th, and tournament packs are on sale right now. Get your tickets at cebl.ca, and for all other information, head to cebl.ca as well. You get standings, stats, everything you might need to enrich your Canadian Elite Basketball experience. For Director Jamie Tan and Editor Sherry R. Shockett, I'm Sean Woodley. We'll talk to you again next week.